Well, hello, I'm Dr. Daryl D. Green. You are in leading organization change. It's Mgmt 3213. You're in for a treat. Our students have been engaging in experimental learning, working with industry experts, business clients to actually apply what we call change management. So what I want to do right now is introduce our guest reviewers. Guest reviews, I would like for you to say a little about yourself, who you represent, and then we're going to go with it. So we're gonna start with Dr. Holden. Dr. Holden, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dr. Holden. I chair the business school. I think you all know me. I'm looking forward to the presentations.
Okay, Miss Leslie Cusick.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'm Leslie Cusick. I'm with RSI and Tech in Oak Ridge, and I do environmental science, regulatory policy, and a lot of community engagement. So I am really interested in listening to what these young people have to say.
Okay. Miss Laura Hagans.
Good morning. Lori Hagans, Director of Career Services and Parent Engagement at OBU.
Did we have a few of our alumni with us? We're going to go with Mr. Yusuf Mikhail.
Hey, I'm Yosef Mikhail. I'm over here with the group sales with the Dallas Cowboys. I was actually in this class about a year ago, so it's kind of exciting to be here.
Man, can I get some tickets? I'm sorry, that's not professional. I'm sorry, that's not professional. Forgive me. And we have Mr. Samuel Smith.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Hook me up with some tickets. I'm Samuel Smith. I'm a 2019 grad. I was in Dr. Green's classes, and Dr. Hoden was my advisor. And now I work for the Oklahoma Arthritis Center, where I'm the executive director in charge of clinical operations and business development.
Man, I need a loan. I could use a loan. So we have. Are there any of our clients, business clients, are they with us? Okay, we just want to recognize. We'll recognize you later. So we're going to get this thing kicked off. The presentations are 6 minutes. I am the timer. If you go into the chat box, I will be recording the time, and we're going to go with team one. Team one, you're up.
Okay, give me 1 second to share my screen.
And Samuel, we started the micro internships after we did it with you, and it got better. So I just want to let you know that we did get better. So
All right, you guys able to see that?
we're ready.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Green. So we are team one, and this is our final presentation for our micro internship. My name is Michelle Earle, and my role this semester was the primary researcher. And our team lead was Jaden Balthrop, who communicated mostly with our client, made sure that we were on schedule. And our client was Dr. Gambo with Common Ground Connections. So this is our agenda for today, just looking over the client problem, how we were able to address it, and what we were able to do. And then you'll be able to see our results, our lessons learned, and our client feedback. So our organization, Common Ground Connection, is a nonprofit located in Nigeria. So their goal is really to grow discipleship and grow other people's faith as well through empowerment, community, as well through discipleship. And so what we noticed through our client when we did some background research is that he really had no online presence regarding Common Ground Connections website. It was very hard to locate, couldn't find the Facebook or Instagram. And then once we had our first initial meeting, we recognized that he wanted to have some more resources for employee training as well as task management. So things such as Canva, MailChimp, and then just being able to, for task management, seeing how to keep accountable and seeing what tasks are being done. And so for our change outlook, since this is change management leadership, we focused on digital literacy. So within the industry and most industries now, you really have to stay ahead of the game and be aware of all the resources that you have available to you. So that's what we wanted to do for our clients. So we wanted to provide those resources, free, subscription, or paid resources for MailChimp, Canva, task management, learning more about Instagram and Facebook. And then we just wanted to increase his online presence so more people knew about his nonprofit in Nigeria as well as in the States. So our strategy was we wanted to utilize social media. So start by posting more on Facebook, Instagram, gaining content, gaining traction. And then we wanted to search for those resources in employee and task management. So we're able to compile those and then send him his way. So our detailed timeline, really through week 1 through 4, we did all our background research. We wanted to make sure we could find everything for him. And then during week 6, we wanted to make that content, post that content. And then during those final weeks, we wanted to give the platforms back to him, give those resources back, and then just make sure everything was good to go. And then just for a couple analysis that we did during our research through week 1 and 4, we did gap, benchmarking, SWOT, stoplight. And then this is just our stoplight chart. And this really just helped us understand what we needed to do and provide for our clients. So we established a primary phone call and email, but we needed to work more on reaching what our KPIs would be by the end of the semester. And then just some of the things that we need to be aware of is just making sure that he would have the necessary social media skills by the end. And then here's Jaden with our results.
All right, hi everybody, my name is Jaden and I'm just going to be going over our results and our wrap up with the project as a whole. So we utilized Meta Business Suite to link together our Facebook and our Instagram. And as you can see, we gained 37 followers on Facebook, and that's actually growing. I checked it this morning and we're up to 39, which is awesome. And then for our Instagram, we're up to 15. And then with our continued results, so we averaged about 8 likes per post. And then for our reach, we averaged about 19 to 25 people per post, which is great. The difference between reach and engagement is reach is the people who view the post, engagement is the people who interact with the post. So we averaged 19 to 25, and we actually hit over 880 people on one of our posts in terms of reach, which was awesome. And then for our engagement, we averaged about 11 users per post who engaged with each post that we created. And then as Michelle was talking about, we compiled a list of different employee resources that Dr. Gambo could use with his organization for task management specifically. We organized it by name, program, delivery, plans, cost, and then just some additional notes that we found as we were sifting through these. Some of them had cost, it just kind of depended on the subscription service that you chose to go with. But ultimately, Dr. Gambo chose to go with an Excel template for task management. And this is actually an example of what we showed him. He went with 3 different forms of Excel spreadsheets that we provided him. The first one is based off of project. You organize it by task and you're able to see what task is due, when it's due, and what project it's correlated with. And then the next one is just task specific. You can assign it to different employees. You can rank it based off of importance and then see the percentage of when it's done. And then lastly, we have the weekly task management system. So you can just organize your tasks by day to make sure you get everything completed within a week's time. And then we have our client feedback. So Dr. Gambo said that us as micro interns helped his organization with his social media presence. We were able to create a Facebook and Instagram account for the ministry because the previous accounts were faulty and they just weren't properly designed. We also helped the director. His name is Manji. He's actually on the Zoom call right now. We helped him with the task management and with the Excels that we provided him that were shown previously. And then as for Michelle and I, so we of course learned a ton through this project. So Michelle learned that communication is key no matter what you do. And then I learned that technology issues will happen. We had some issues at the beginning of the project, getting the Facebook and the Instagram link together, but it's truly just about figuring it out as a team and then getting right back on track to where we needed to be. And with that being said, we are so thankful for the opportunity to have helped Common Ground Connection gain some social media presence and also help with some task management things that we were looking at. It was truly a great example of change management, and we're just very thankful to both Dr. Green and Dr. Gambo for this opportunity. With that being said, does anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much. Your presentation was 6 minutes and 23 seconds, which is the time that we look for. We call this reviewers, we call this rapid fire. We're going to ask that you have a comment or question, hold it to 15 to 30 seconds, and we're going to ask that the students do the same. So here's the order of reviewers' comments. Houghton, Cusick, Hagan, Mahale, and Smith. Houghton, you're up.
Great presentation, guys. Just one question. Early in the presentation, you kind of indicated your progress chart and you had 2 red spots, which means I think you didn't get that done. Can you help me understand that part a little bit?
So we actually did complete that. That was our initial stoplight chart.
see.
We just
Okay.
showed the initial stuff, not the completed. At the end of it, all of it was in the green, which was awesome.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
wanted. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good job. Cusick?
Okay, my question is, I saw that there were a number of Excel spreadsheets provided on how to manage the tasks. Do you feel that that is sufficient, or could it be too many ways to look at things, or is it working for them?
So we actually initially provided them with roughly 6 different Excel spreadsheets, and we showed them all 6. We had a Zoom call with both Dr. Gambo and his director of operations in Nigeria to figure out what worked best for their organization. And so the 3 that we showed actually all pertain to their own events that they were hosting. So for example, the first one that we showed, they were just using that for their yearly conference because it was project-based. The second one they were using just for daily tasks to organize it between employees, make sure information is getting to the right people and tasks are getting completed. And then the last one we showed, the weekly one, was similar to the first one where it was by task and by employee, but we could see what day it needed to be completed by. So we made sure they fit what they needed, and there were a ton of other options as well. From what we know, they have worked sufficiently for the organization. And we can also double check that too, because we have both of them on. So
Okay, great presentation, ladies. Good job. I do have a question. Did you all design and build the Excel sheets yourself for them?
I was able to look up free templates that we were able to access. So there's a bunch of free programs online that you're able to download. And then obviously if I was more technologically advanced, I would be able to like make my own Excel sheet, but rather same time and resources we could be able to grab from those. So yeah, and that way they can also utilize different free Excel sheets on the website. So yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with using what's already built. It saved your time. So good job.
Mahel?
Yeah, great job on all the social media work. I'm just kind of curious on if you guys have set up a plan for the future for them to continue putting out just content in the next couple of months.
yes, so actually for the past about 3 to 4 weeks, we've been meeting weekly with Dr. Gambo and Manji to make sure that we can get the Meta Business Suite handed over to them properly. So the way that functions is you can add team members, and that's what we actually met about this week was Dr. Gambo got access to it, and he was able to create a post, invite people to like all of the pages and all of that fun stuff that comes with Meta. We're still getting Manji set up. We've had some technical difficulties getting his account registered, but he is able to do it and he knows how to do it. So all we're waiting for is to make sure he has full access to it, and then we pull out of the account pretty simply. So they do have a plan lined up and they know how to use it, which is awesome.
Good deal. Smith?
So I heard you all talk about KPIs, and we use KPIs a lot in healthcare. So I just want to know, what were your KPIs? How did you all decide those? How are those being tracked now, and how will Common Ground Connection use that in the future?
Yes, so the main KPIs we used were related to social media. So we used the likes, reach, engagement. Those were the 3 main ones. And then we also had access to other information such as comments, shares, all the other things that are associated with Meta Business Suite. So we tracked those using the Meta program. We could pull that up and view it individually by post. We could also do it by a date and time to figure out what got the most views and when and what day, which was great. We are still actively tracking those. That's always available via that program, which is great. And as of right now, we do expect Common Ground Connection to keep using it. We talked about that yesterday, actually, and they know where to locate it and they are ready to use it and excited to see who they can reach and how.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for all the reviewers. We do have our clients. We're going to give them a few seconds. Dr. Gambo and Mr. Samuels, you guys want to say something on this project?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Green. I'm really grateful for your team. Jaden and Michelle did an outstanding job. It was phenomenal. They were professional. They communicated clearly. They were really up to task. I was able to really get connected with them, and it was timely. They communicated well. They were able to also just not just do it for the sake of a client, but they work with us as part of a team. So I saw that team spirit in them and professionalism. Overall, it was an excellent job they did, and they've helped our ministry. We've seen a lot of people now being able to, just from the social media platform, they've been able to kind of like get that awareness. And so our mobilization is growing. And that has helped our director in terms of tax management. And just getting in touch with Jaden and Michelle has really kind of like expanded his worldview in terms of engaging with young people for ministry. And I thought that was beautiful. So thank you so much for the team. I'm really appreciative for what they did.
Thank you. Mr. Sam, you got any words? Few words, and we're gonna move on.
Just few words to say thank you to Jaden and Michelle. I communicated very well with Jaden, and it was really impactful how they communicated everything, the whole task management, and even the social media platforms. So we want to say thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. One thing I'll quickly say, COVID taught us that we can reach the world. And so that's what we do. We have no boundaries in terms of reaching and supporting people. So I want you to look at the bottom of your screen and let's give a reaction. Let's give applause for team one. Give us some applause. Give a reaction. Thank you. Next up, team two. Team two, you're up.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, you look good.
All right. My name is Jacob Landers. I'm with Team 2, and we were blessed with working with the Envoy Guide magazine. For our team, on this picture in the bottom right corner, we have Elijah Frost, who was over research and meeting with our client. And then you have me in the middle, who was over class assignments and our presentations. And then Callum Ramick on the far right, who was also over class assignments and meeting with the client. And then in the top right, you can see our client, Yvette Freeman. For our agenda today, we'll be going through talking about the company, client problem and the goal, business strategy, detailed schedule, analysis, lessons learned, client feedback, and closing. And I'll pass it to Elijah.
Thanks, Jake. So the Envoy magazine is a magazine that focuses on minority-run businesses, not just minorities, but LGBT and women-run companies, but they even cover things like local artists, news, events. There's really a widespread, but they highlight those who might not be as highlighted in other news mediums. And so the problem when we came in was she wanted to acquire new subscribers. She was transitioning away from print and into a digital format, and she wanted to work on some advertising and monetization on this digital format, and also just attracting new and younger audiences, just figuring out ways to meet a changing audience. Next slide. And so when we started, she was kind of at an uncertain future in limbo between print and digital. And she was working with changing her website. She had one website set up, and turns out whoever did it didn't do it too well. And so she's working with moving to the next website as well. And so what we helped her with was we helped her research paywall options to monetize her website usage. And we actually found one I believe she's planning on using. We helped her research ad options. We got her some feedback for the future and tried to help her find out how to adapt content to meet a changing audience. And we're beginning to contact some businesses for maybe some sponsorships. We really just were, more than anything else, a research tool. Tried to help her figure out how to meet some changing markets. And I'll pass it off to Callum to give us a schedule here.
Thank you, Elijah. I'm Callum Ramick. I'll be going over the detailed schedule. In September, we met the client, and we just really got to kind of figure out the industry. And then she presented a few topics for us to research. So we researched ad options, like Elijah said, and also looked at paywalls for her website. In October, we presented the research we found. In October, there was a few unfortunate situations and circumstances, so we didn't meet a lot of October, but things are good now. But then in November, we kind of reached out to other businesses. We looked to coffee shops, other universities, just to kind of spread word about her newspaper as well, or her magazine, as well as trying to find people who would want to invest or become sponsors in the magazine. And then in December, we wrapped it up. For our analysis for Stoplight, when we started, there weren't any paywalls, and that was a problem. But then there's for her social media, there was some traffic to her website or to her social media platforms, but there wasn't a lot. So we wanted to improve on that. But something she did really well from the beginning was her community involvement. She was doing really good with that. Gap, Elijah touched on this a lot. We wanted to increase readership, just increase how many people were seeing the magazine. We wanted to develop a paywall, and we wanted to increase social media traffic. For our change outlook, how we experienced change during this micro internship, we experienced change pretty much the whole time. We kind of came in during a time of change. Like Elijah said, she was building a new website. She was kind of transitioning from print to digital. So a lot of our meetings were just us discussing new ideas, how we can change, how we can adapt to new climate. And a lot of what we did as well was research what the younger audience wants, what they're looking for, what we look for as young people coming out of college and college. And then lessons learned. It was a new market for a lot of us, especially me. So just learning how the print industry works, how the magazine industry works was good. It was a good lesson to learn. We had a lot of different schedules. We were involved in different things, and kind of like the next point, she was in a different state. And so it made finding times to meet, finding times to work together difficult. And it was just a challenge to kind of work with her and communicate or connect sometimes, just because it was over Zoom. And so that just provided some challenges. And then, yeah, there were just different requirements that were a little bit of a challenge when we first started, but it was a good lesson.
And now for our
I'll
client
pass it
feedback.
over.
Ms. Freeman left us with this. My team did a great job researching possible revenue and generating ideas for my website. They were very attentive and willing to help in any way they could. And then with that, we'll be taking questions. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much. Unshare your screen for us. Your presentation was excellent. From a time standpoint, 5 minutes and 56 seconds. We do have the client, one of the clients in the room, and I just want to, Ms. Freeman, do you want to say just a few words before we go ahead with our reviewers? Any comments?
Just want to say it was a pleasure working with Callum and Elijah and Jacob. Like you said, we did have some challenges because during the process, I was dealing with COVID and a health scare with my husband. So there were times we weren't able to meet, but they did a great job, always working on their assignments, getting back with me, and attending our weekly Zoom meetings as much as we could. And they gave some great insight into how I can, like you said, get to a younger audience, hopefully for the magazine, and also information on how I can move forward with content for the website and the magazine as well. So they did a great job, and it was a pleasure working with them.
Thank you so much. She's a frequent flyer. She's been working with us since we started. So we're gonna go with in terms of reviewers, Cusick, Hagens, Mahel, Smith, followed by Holden.
Okay, it's Leslie. I just wanted to say that your graphics were very good and they were engaging. There were a couple of them where the print was hard to read, but your verbal accompaniment to what you were showing was very helpful. So thank you. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Good job, gentlemen. I do have one question though. You talk about bringing in a younger audience and all. How did you research, or how did you assess what was going to be the best way to do that?
So one of the things we did was, I mean, for one, we just asked our class and asked some other people in other majors, just like what attracts you to a news article when you see it? what is the difference between an article you'll click on versus one you just scroll past? And so one of the good examples we got was like Instagram posts that have little samples, like a quote from the article that like grabs your attention, and then it's got just a little bit of the article and things like that that catch your attention. We're a generation that needs to be constantly stimulated. So just looking at things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Miguel?
I actually worked with Ms. Freeman a couple years ago in the micro internship as well. So I'm glad to hear you guys did such a great job this year. My question is, you mentioned reaching out to maybe sponsors or just other local businesses. How did you guys do that? What was your plan of action for that?
So that's currently still on the agenda. I have a list here. We talked on, I want to say it was Friday or Thursday, about getting that finalized, and I just need to write that up and send it out. But it's just, we're sending out, seeing if they want to collaborate, sponsor, just see if we can get the name out there some.
Smith?
Yeah, you all talked about social media and trying to improve some throughput to the social media. I didn't know if you all have been able to implement those strategies that you want, and if you've been able to track and see any success from that.
So one of the things we talked about was doing like behind the scenes videos, just covering how she does her photo shoots, and maybe having her writers talk about how they get their content. And she had one of them make a video, and it actually did very well. And so just getting some ideas for getting the name out there on social media as opposed to just articles.
Thank you. Holden?
Yeah, I think just a clarification. You mentioned you had touched base with like universities and coffee shops early in your presentation. Was that just OBU as the university and the coffee shops around us, or was that around her? I just didn't understand what you're talking about there.
So yeah, that's that list of companies we're going to be reaching out to. It's some here, some national, and then some in North Carolina. Okay. We've got a list that we're going to send emails out to and see if they want to do some collaborations. Yeah.
Good.
Great job. Again, this is North Carolina and we're in Shawnee. So let's take a moment, reactions, and we want to thank Team 2. Thank you so much.
And Yvette, thank you for coming out here. We really appreciated the time we spent with you.
Ooh, that was nice, Mr. Frost. Pretty classic. All right, next is a frequent person we work with, and very few schools can say that we're working with the mayor, and that is Team 3. Team 3, you're up.
Okay, we're Team 3. I'm Shelby and my partner was Alex. So through our agenda, we're just gonna go through our team, our client, our change management, client problem, business strategy, community engagement, and then there's a little bit left of the list. So our team, I'm Shelby, I was head of the research, and Alex was our team lead. Our client was Mayor Ed Bolt, currently the mayor and is gonna run again in 2024. So our client problem was 2 focuses. So community engagement and understanding why OBU students leave Shawnee after graduation. Our change management was the mayor wants to change the way OBU students view Shawnee. So when we first met with him, he said that his #1 problem was, well, that he's seen was that a lot of OBU graduates don't typically stay in Shawnee, and he kind of wanted to figure out why. And his goal is to encourage future students to stay throughout these little micro internships. And then I'm going to pass it off to Alex.
All right, so getting into our business strategy, so our first action was community engagement. So we thought a good way of doing this was getting students out to see the stuff that the events that Shawnee was putting on. So this included a pep rally at the OBU football homecoming, OBU trunk or treat, which we were able to share on some platforms. Monsters on Main, which was a new park opening, and they had a Halloween event out there. And then finally the Christmas parade, which is actually tonight. We'll be walking in it. So we did some work for that, and should be exciting. We'll be walking with the mayor. So here's a couple pictures from the stuff we got to work with. The left is the OBU trunk or treat, and the right is the pep rally. And then, so for the Christmas parade, so this is our big final objective. So for this, we completed a media release, which is in the OBU newspaper. We created this flyer, which we hung up around GC and the business school and some other places around campus. And then we actually got to send this to Visit Shawnee, and they are going to use it and put it on their, they put it on their website. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be walking with the mayor at the front of the parade tonight, I think with a couple of our classmates. It's at 6:30 if anyone wants to come. And so this was the big thing I focused on. So this was the understanding OBU students. So first, we started with face-to-face conversations. So I talked to multiple teammates, people in the business school, some people on other classes and stuff like that. Just get the perspective, see some conversations with them and how they thought about Shawnee. And so then to further the research, we did a survey. So I built questions based on Shawnee and the local events to answer some questions. And so after we did this survey, we were able to put a report together and present it to the mayor, who is also presenting for Shawnee and hopefully the Commerce of Business. So this is just a way to understand what's going on, and so that they can build Shawnee in a way that they want it to be built for students to retain and businesses to retain the students that graduate. Here's our schedule. So in September, we did the kickoff meeting. This is where we were brainstorming and creating some ideas that we wanted to do. October is when we started to do 2 of our events, and then the survey was created. November, I sent out the surveys to various people, and we were able to analyze and build the reports, and then we were preparing for the Christmas parade. And then December is our final, and we are actually in the Christmas parade tomorrow. And then here's some of the analysis that we completed: the gap analysis, chain checklist, benchmarking, and stoplight chart. Here's our final stoplight chart. So we did one at the start, and then this was the end. So the communication leadership was green. The risks and plan of actions were completed. That was green. Competitors, this was one that we were yellow or reddish at the start. So just doing some research on other universities, other towns like Norman and Stillwater, kind of seeing what they did. And then our only red was just the time with our client, because he was pretty busy with, well, he's not here today because he has a lot of meetings, but he's just pretty busy. And then I was in season for football. So just having to understand, like getting your information down so you can work for a week or 2 without having to see your client. No, you're muted.
Sorry. So we posted the Halloween and Christmas flyers around campus, 2 in the Geiger Center and 1 in the Bailey Business. I also posted the trunk or treat on Visit Shawnee's website, which is available to the community. And then Alex conducted the survey. So our client feedback, essentially, it was basically just thanking us for, despite being both athletes, taking the time to work with him and engage with Shawnee and OBU. And next slide. So our lessons learned was Alex learned that change is essential and those who are not willing to learn will not succeed. And I learned that despite being on 3 different schedules, work still needs to be done. And in conclusion, we're thankful for Dr. Green and Mr. Bolt for just giving us the opportunity to do something like this, to play a huge role in our professional careers.
All right, thank you so much. Your presentation was about 6 minutes and 10 seconds, which was great. We're gonna go with we missed Mr. Bolt, Mayor Moak. We've been working with him a long time. We're gonna do Hagens, Mahale, Smith, Holden, and Cusick.
Okay, good job. I really like the flyer you guys created, the Christmas flyer. That was really good for the parade. I do have a question. As far as your feedback, you said that you received, I think 31 responses was the number. So share with us what some of that feedback was.
Yeah, so we were asking, there was kind of two sides so we could get the Shawnee and the engagement stuff. So we found that a lot of students go home for like three main reasons, or they don't stay in Shawnee. So the first was that they want to go back home, which is kind of hard to compete with. So we gave some recommendations of maybe making Shawnee, which is not going to be a quick fix, but for them, for that scenario, but making Shawnee more competitive to compete with their hometowns or home cities or wherever they're coming from. Second was most students throughout the campus didn't feel as though there were like opportunities to see advertisements from businesses and work opportunities. And so maybe just doing some like internships or finding places through Shawnee that will come. Maybe we could do like field trips to different businesses for other than just the business school. And then the third reason, which was they just kind of felt like Shawnee could be gross in some areas with the homeless population and that type of stuff.
Okay. Well, that's great information to know. I mean, that should be very helpful for the city to have that information. So great job and good job on time management. Yes, it's one of those things we have to consider in the work world. So congratulations, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I really liked that presentation. It was awesome. Yeah, so I loved how you guys used Visit Shawnee and all these different media platforms to kind of get Mr. Bolt's information out there. Is there a plan for the future to like kind of keep the relationship going between OBU and his office so that way Shawnee has more input to the OBU students? And also, Mr. Nabavi, your mustache is awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully the report we put some recommendations in there and hopefully I think Mr. Bolt, he's running for mayor, so if he wins again, kind of depends if we will continue working with him, but hopefully he will stay in the micro internships if they're still doing them. But yeah, hopefully that report that we built can help for the upcoming years with just some ideas and ways that the OBU students think. So we try to put some future ideas in there too for 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, I think Shelby and Alex are looking to be at the White House with Mayor Hope. All right, next, Smith.
Yeah, so you all talked about the community events and leading students there. Did you see any results from that? Were you able to track how many people you actually led to those events, or did you go to those events yourselves and were you able to see kind of the fruits of your labor for trying to lead people to those events?
Yeah, so I got to go to the trunk or treat and the pep rally, but I didn't get to go to the new park opening because I had a game the same day. So, and she had a softball game, so we weren't able to go to that one. But he told us that one went really well, and there's a lot of people out there. But I couldn't like write down all the people that came, but I think we made an impact. I would hope we did.
Holden.
Yeah, so just a couple things. One, I really like the idea that OBU students are involved in those activities, so I applaud that. On the other hand, I'm not sure that's enough to convince you guys to stay once you earn your degree. And then finally, I'll be there tonight to watch you guys in the parade. And I do like the parade, but you mentioned the homeless population. They'll be down there. So maybe showing up to the parade is not the best thing if we're afraid of exposing you guys to the homelessness. But yeah, overall, great presentation. Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And Cusick.
I thought that your topic was outstanding, and my question is, how did you come up with it?
So I think that this has been the kind of the topic through like all of his teams with micro simulations, because it was kind of like the main thing that we talked about when we first met with him was just like he wants OBU students to stay. Like he wants the businesses to be filled with OBU graduates. So I know that like we had a relationship with Visit Shawnee, and the team before us also had a relationship with Visit Shawnee. So that's going to be something that's good going forward. So I think that it's just kind of what he is working towards with all of these teams.
Sounds like future research for many people. A fascinating topic.
Thank you so much. Let's give a virtual applause for Team 3. Now, last presenters of today, Team 4, you up, Team 4.
Hi, can everyone see my screen?
Looking good, looking good.
Great. So my name is Sierra Copeland. I'm on Team 4. I'm working with AT and James. Here's some pictures of us. Our overview today, we're going to be going through introduction, client's background, their problem, business strategy, change outlook, analysis, detailed schedule, results, client feedback, lessons learned, and conclusion. So a little bit about our client's business. Her name is Julie Hockett. Her business is called Insurance and Financial LLC. It was created in August 2020. She first worked at a firm, and then she decided she wanted to branch out, and so she created her own business and works as the sole proprietor. Her business is located on MacArthur Street in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Two of her main problems were one, exposure. So we wanted to expand online and Shawnee area presence, and also innovation. So we are looking to update her website aesthetic mainly. So 3 of our business strategies. One was to analyze her social media presence, make improvements to her content. We wanted to increase online and website traffic. And lastly, we wanted to increase her exposure by highlighting her unique personal factor. I'll pass it on to ATN for the schedule.
This is our detailed schedule. So starting in September, we met Mrs. Hockett and we had a kickoff meeting. And then we also did benchmarking and gap analysis assignments for her company. And then we began the weekly status reports that we did throughout the semester. And then in October, we did a stoplight chart, which you'll see later in this presentation. And then we began the search for company assistance with the Fiverr service. So in November, we hired someone off of Fiverr to do 74 Google Maps citations for business SEO. And then we did a media release for a company and completed our last status report. And in December, we had our closeout meeting with her this past Tuesday. And then we had a final presentation dry run yesterday, Wednesday. And then we're doing a final presentation right now. So our change outlook, so due to the recent inflation, many insurance companies have been struggling with keeping profits, and Mrs. Hockett's goal was to stay even and not lose any profits. And doing so is accomplished by retaining customers, and she has had success in her goal in doing that. For our stoplight analysis, she was at first lacking online and SEO presence and was behind the pack of other Shawnee businesses in regards to exposure. And then in the yellow, yeah, that she has a social media presence and a website running, but it could be upgraded to give a more pleasant viewing experience for customers. And one thing in the green is she's very active in the community, and that gives her an edge over her competitors because she has very personable factors. This is the gap analysis. I have quite a few things on here as far as us working with our client, things that we want to work on. And for our results, we had increased our exposure by instilling keyword trackers, which is known as SEOs. And we also increased our exposure on the OBU campus by publishing a media release in our OBU newspaper.
And then we reviewed her social media prints and made recommendations for her to help improve that. And then we also reviewed her newsletter and website designs and provided a service that she could use to update her website as stated. And this is a picture of the 74 Google Maps citations that we had the person on Fiverr do. This is what it looks like. It has all of the citations there. It's around the Shawnee area, even in a little bit of the OKC area.
And here was our media release. It was put in the Bison newspaper. It won't be coming out in print form until next semester, but this is on their website. And so here's our picture with our client and a little bit of a summary of just us working together this semester. And I'm going to play her feedback, a snippet of her feedback on our Zoom closeout meeting.
Love about it is just the ideas that you guys can give me from your perspective, an outsider, and especially younger generation. I mean, they're the people that we're trying to eventually, you know, they're going to become us. So I like to see what they like and just hear the way they think.
So some of the lessons we learned was I learned how to communicate effectively with a client. And for ATN, he learned how to make contributions to the growth of the company. And I think this was both our first times working in any sort of internship. So it was really good real life experience for both of us. Finally, to conclude, we thoroughly enjoyed working with Julie this semester. Like I said, we gained effective experience that will translate to the world hopefully. And we continue to stay in touch with Julie and look forward to seeing what she does with her business. With that being said, is there any questions?
Thank you, Team 4. If you unshare your screen, we appreciate it. Your presentation time was excellent. It was 5 minutes and 43 seconds, which is outstanding. And I want to mention one of the things about the micro internship, it is athletes friendly. Students gain something they can put on their resume and they don't have to give up their summer. So we're going to go with Mahale, Smith, Holden, Cusick, followed by Higgins.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with SEOs or SEO work. You said you guys contracted somebody from Fiverr. What's a way to kind of make sure that that's, you know, leaving a positive impact, or kind of like what's the performance indicator that that's actually working?
ATN, do you want to take it?
So the SEO, it just it kind of just helps with like how much traffic is going into her website, how much people are viewing her website, things of that nature. And then Fiverr is just about trying to find the right people that will do the right things for your company. Like, it can be helpful. There's some things you have to watch out for because some of them, yeah, they can be sketchy, but you just have to.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got a cheap service, and I think is very effective. I think the main thing we try to track is just website clicks.
You all talked a lot about reviewing Julie's social media. How did you all do the reviews, and then what did you learn from those reviews?
Yeah, so I just wanted to go through, we went through her Instagram, LinkedIn. Those were her main two ones. So we just want to make sure she was pushing out content, that she was kind of following the right people, that she was, you know, just kind of her brand image from an outsider's perspective. And so we gave her a lot of recommendations on just kind of what things to post and when.
Yeah, I have nothing substantive to say. I thought everything was great. Just qualitatively, that one slide where you had the press release was too small for my aged eyes to see, but I'm sure we'll see it when it hits the paper. So all good. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought your presentation was very effective. You covered a lot of material in a very short period of time, and you got your messaging across, and that's really key if you intend to do this kind of work in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
And Ms. Higgins.
Okay, I think I'm up. Okay. I thought overall it was good. I thought you had some good graphics. I would say though, just caution you, I did notice some misspelled and misused words. So I would really encourage you to go back through and, double check just to be sure you haven't overlooked anything like that. And for me, I mean, whenever you centered some of the information, then you had bullet points, to me, that was distracting. So I'm not sure you need the bullet points when you're centering. So you might just check that out. So yeah, overall good presentation.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Let's give them a virtual applause. So, excuse me. Let's also thank our reviewers coming from all across the country. Let's give them an applause. What about love? What about love? So again, in conclusion, this has been a wonderful moment. Does any student we have a few minutes. Any students, do they have anything to say? I'm gonna give you guys a chance. This might be on NBC or ABC. So anybody want to say something? You might get some clicks. Anybody? For students, anybody want to say something?
I guess I'll just say thank you all for being here and listening to us.
Appreciate that.
And thank you, Dr. Green, for the opportunity, and we'll miss seeing you around.
I wish you best of luck, Dr. Green, in your future endeavors.
Yeah, thank you.
Gonna miss you, Dr. Green.
You're gonna make me cry. So those that don't know, this is my last semester at OBU. It's been amazing. I want to thank Ms. Higgins and Dr. Holmes for encouragement. We've changed the world, and I'm glad to be a part of that. So with the last words, we're gonna have our give us 15 seconds. We're gonna have our reviewers. We're gonna start with Smith, Michael, Higgins, Cusick, and last, but our leader, Holden. So in that order, 15 seconds of your takeaway from this session.
Yeah, I mean, you said when we started that it's gotten better than when we started, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, the presentations, visualization, getting through clear and concise, it's been done very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought all the presentations were awesome. These micro internships are great for your resume and just kind of having some experience under your belt. So this is great.
Thank you. Higgins.
Overall, great. I thank you, Youssef, for reminding us that this can be used on your resume. So moving forward, think about those things. So I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Ms. Higgins, we need the Cowboys. We need some tickets, and we also need some internships. We got them on the point. Okay.
Yes, we do. I have major family fans for the Cowboys. So
there we go.
Okay. Give me an email.
This is Leslie. I just wanted to say that what you're doing and what you've just studied is extremely important, because what's going on in the world is all about change, and being able to lead people through change and challenges is incredibly valuable, because you can be a calming force and you can take the unsettled information and you can formalize it in a way that it's not frightening, but where it's manageable. And that's so important. So God bless you all and what you're trying to do.
And Dr. Holden.
Well, first, thank you, students. Great work as always. Always proud of our students, some of our best. And also thank you to our clients and our guests that are online. We couldn't do this without you giving us the work to do for you. And last but not least, Dr. Green, so thankful for you and your work on this. Whoever fills your shoes is gonna have to continue this process because it's been great.
Amen. So this is going to be recorded. So we use this to help our students, and that's what we do. So on that note, farewell, get to your classes, and God bless you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
Thank you.